It's JP again. Just gonna jump right into the colony and see where things are at. I've already forgotten everything that I said I was going to work on in the last episode, so hopefully once the colony loads I'll remember. I think we needed to finish up the freezer, actually get the cooler going, so hopefully Retro wakes up at some point. And then we'll get working on the... Alright, we've got the turbine going up. Where are our components? Do we have enough components? We should. We start with like 24 components? Did Mustache haul them yet? Where are our components? Retro. Eating berries. Where are our meals? Retro. Mustache. This isn't good. Steel. Berries, wood, medicine. This what? All right. Let's. There are supposed to be components on the ground. Oh, there they are. Freaking out over nothing. We'll cancel the deconstruct order on. I think the ship chunks give like. I don't know how much steel they give, but I think they have like 6 components in them, so they're really good for that. But we don't need to worry about that just yet. I just want to get these, get the turbine and the cooler up and running so we can have a functioning cooler. Once we get the corn grown, we'll have JP cut the trees in here so we actually have room for our cooking table, our stove, I suppose is the technical term, and our butcher block. And we cut that outright, I think, so we don't have to worry about that. Moogie's researching. Stone cutting's almost done. Once she finishes that, I'm going to move on to smithing so we can start getting some melee weapons for Retro and Mustache. Because right now I'm the only person who's useful in a fight with my pistol, which is the best gun I could bring myself to provide our colony. Bearing in mind all the other stuff that I'm starting us with. Specifically, 4 colonists is kind of on the high end. The default experience has you starting with 3 colonists. And then there's another mode where you can start with 5 if you are in a tribe. And the main disadvantage of the tribe is that your research takes a lot longer. So, kind of splitting the middle, 4 colonists. Weaker starting stuff, fewer meals, worse weapons. So hopefully that doesn't bite us in the butt too hard. We'll speed things along here a little bit just to make sure we're getting... there we go, there's stone cutting done. We'll slow this down so I can not waste too much time picking smithing. Normally, I would like to pick... Moogie, please get back to work. Normally I like to go... what do I normally go for? Either microelectronics basics. It's kind of like your gateway research. It opens up a bunch of stuff down here that's really important. But right now I'm gonna prioritize smithing over over all of that. So we need to get conduits built to divert power from the turbine to the cooler. Hopefully Retro will get on that soon. Hunger's pregnant. Good news, we'll have more chinchillas soon. Mad animal. Local raccoon has gone mad. He is right on top of us. JP, you gotta get on this. So this could go bad. Raccoons are not a joke, especially when you've only got one person with a gun. But JP's killing it. There's a lot of realistic damage. Every creature has a bunch of body parts that get hit when you shoot. So it's not just like doing 10 damage when you shoot them with a pistol. You're doing 10 damage, but you're doing 10 damage to their lung and destroying it. And when you destroy their lung, they start losing their ability to move and so forth. So getting early hits on an enemy benefits you a lot because it slows them down, makes them easier for you to continue shooting. So I knocked it out of the park. Got it down in 3 shots. Right to the body and the lung and the rear left leg. Tore it up. Future issues will not be that smooth, I assure you, but we'll get it done. Hopefully, we may have to research, what is it? Machining, which I think we need microelectronics basics for. No, just smithing. So we might actually do machining pretty early so I can start crafting more guns, which again is going to put us behind the ball because I really want to get this up as soon as possible. And in fact, you know what I might do? Since we don't have a lot of hauling right now, oh no, you can't research two things at once, but Mustache can help speed the research along once the hauling is done. So he'll probably only have to haul these components if he hasn't already done that, and he has. So he might actually just be able to go right on to research as long as I let him do it. And you know what? I'm gonna not have him plant cut. I'm gonna have him wake up. If the chinchillas are awake, he'll work on training them, and when the chinchillas are asleep, he just researches through the night. So hopefully having two researchers will help get through this weird thing where I'm not going to be getting this early. So the main thing I want this for are gun turrets, so basically better defenses for our colony, since I'm the only person with a gun. Maybe gun turrets are the way to go. They take a lot of power, and they don't move easily. So the advantage of being able to build guns and have more people shoot, or at least giving me a better gun to shoot with, is that you're more mobile, you're more responsive to threats as they show up. Gun turrets are mobile, they're not very powerful, but you can build a whole bunch of them, and that's always really nice. But there's also things like tube television, which I've never really bothered researching. I usually just wait till I can trade for a better television. Two colonists idle. Okay, so I need to get on plant cutting, but I'm just gonna go to... JP's gonna go to bed pretty quickly, but that's okay, he'll work on that. Retro's not building anything. I should also assign this to... It's me and Retro. So we can use this as a prisoner bed or something for now. And we'll uninstall that just so it's not clogging up the bedroom. So I think the next thing that's really worth doing is getting floors. Oh no, we should get, he's going to bed, so I'm not going to worry about getting this up before everyone goes to bed. I want an electric stove. I want a butcher table, which doesn't require power because it's just a table. And then I need a battery that, so this, I don't know if I talked about this in the last episode or not, but this doesn't produce reliable power. As you can see, it's not producing a lot of power right now, but it can produce up to, when you see the yellow bar, indicates how much power it's putting out. It's on the rise right now. It gets up to 3,000 watts, which is really good. For comparison, a solar generator only gets up to, I think, 1,700 at maximum, okay, 1,700 watts at maximum production. So we're going to start working on our stockpile zone details. Okay, Mustache is researching, perfect. I want to start doing this so that we are storing the right things in the right places. Right now, this raccoon is out in the awesome Mustache and Moogie getting it on. Alright, so now we have two couples, pretty much what I predicted. I do want to actually have Retro prioritize this. Do we have the wood for it? We should have the wood for it. We have plenty of wood. We'll let JP do all the cutting. So many things that happen in RimWorld all at the same time, it's so easy to lose track of what's going on. What was I talking about? I legitimately don't remember. Stockpile zones. Right. Raccoon. Hanging out in the open. Not refrigerated, spoils in a day. So I want to get this thing refrigerated. So to do that, I'm going to turn this into a freezer by lowering the target temperature of our cooler. One cooler should be able to bring this down to -9. I do this in Celsius for really no real reason. But -9 is pretty cold, keeps things frozen, as you might guess. Negative temperatures in Celsius are below the freezing point. So anything that's frozen does not ever spoil. So we'll use this to store food primarily, but for the short term it's also going to be our general purpose storage. I'll eventually get a shed up, but hopefully by then we actually have a proper constructor. And I do like naming the stockpile zones. If someone is hauling something, it'll indicate which zone they're taking it to. So having names can help kind of like debug your process when they're hauling things to zones you don't really expect them to be hauling it to. So for right now, I'm just going to add animal corpses and remove human-like corpses from the freezer. And I'm going to remove animal corpses from this dumping stockpile zone, so that way when Mustache wakes up he should be hauling that raccoon to the freezer, because this no longer allows the animal corpse, and this does. So Retro's not doing anything, so I'm going to start setting up floors. As you can see, having just bare dirt is kind of an ugly thing to sit in, and it creates a dirty environment, all of which are bad things for various reasons. Cleanliness can influence, it not only influences beauty, but if you have a hospital set up, the cleaner the hospital is, the less likely you are to end up with someone getting an infection. So you want clean rooms for your hospitals. So I designated this as a hospital bed. In case anybody gets hurt, they'll go here to rest up. I think just designating a bed as hospital, there we go. I think just designating a bed as a hospital gives you, yeah, immunity gain speed, which I don't think a bed does. So even though you're not really changing anything, okay, never mind. Don't listen to me. Anyway, Wanderer joins. A villager named Dell has arrived. He's a bodyguard, so he's probably a shooter. He's both shooting and melee. Well, considering we have 2 melee buff dudes already, I'm gonna give him a gun as soon as I can. But he is a level 3 construction, so Retro is actually just off of construction right now. I don't want him taking experience away from Dell. Maybe this is a mechanic that I haven't explained yet. So the skill levels here basically just indicate how good a colonist is at a given skill level from 0 to 20. This right here, this column right here, the fires, they indicate how quickly they learn the skill. Single firing indicates that they're interested in the thing, so they learn it at a relatively normal rate. Double fire means that they have a passion for it. So Dell really likes beating the shit out of people with his big pointy club. So whenever he does so, he gets a lot more experience out of it. And he'll get less experience out of shooting, but that's okay. I need guns. Guns are much more important to have in defense than melee. But because he has a high passion for construction, even though he has a low skill level, especially Retro is probably up to 5 by now, after building all of this he gained, 1 level. Dell, after building this floor, just these floors here, will probably gain a level. Okay, he's training, that's not his business. I need to refactor all of our stuff here. So flick down, he should never handle, he should be constructing, or repair number 1, construct number 2. I don't want him doing really anything else right now, although mining, perfect, good, he's a miner too. So we'll give him a 2 in mining right now, but that'll probably get bumped up to a 1 if we get another constructor later, or if we have more pressing mining. Normally I keep the sort of like the mining or the hunting where you have to say, mine these rocks or hunt this thing. They'll never mine random stuff on their own. I usually like to make those higher priority because when I like being able to give an order and have them go do it. But that's not really what I'm worried about right now. What I'm worried about right now is getting our basic buildings up. So construct higher than repair, or mine, sorry. Art. You are nowhere close as going to be as good of... Wow. You are not nearly as good at art as Mookie is going to be, or even currently is, so you'll never art. And while you're constructing these floors, I'll go find some stuff for you to mine out. Compacted machinery is components. That's always nice to have. Are you able to get here? So this is all compacted steel, which is another very important thing to have. I am idle. I should let these go, allow sewing, so we'll get our cotton and everything going. Now, Retro needs stuff to do. Oh, perfect. So I've got stone cutting researched. So we're going to have Dell prioritize building this. So then when Retro wakes up tomorrow, he'll be able to start cutting these marble and granite chunks into stone blocks, which we can use for construction. So then everyone will have a job, and we'll be making stuff that's pretty useful. So Dell doesn't have any clothes, which is a problem. It's a mood debuff unless they're a nudist, which he's not. He's depressive, he's jealous. Oh, this guy's gonna be rough. Oh, I should give him this bed. So he's not sleeping outside on the ground in the cold. Well, it's probably still gonna be kind of in the cold, but that's okay. Who is mining and why? Mustache, don't mine ever. Don't stop. Thank you. Summer has begun. So yeah, seasons. We're not gonna have a lot of time to grow this stuff. It started kind of late in the seasonal cycle, unfortunately, and I think the yeah, we have a pretty narrow growing zone, so we might not actually be able to support many more colonists than this through the winter. The more colonists you have, the more work you can get done, but also the more mouths you've got to feed. Alright, so I think we should also... Are the meals just not here? Because I think our colonists have just been eating berries this entire time and nothing else. I thought we crash landed with, I remember going down to like a weird number, 17. Dell is hiding in his room. I honestly can't really blame him. He's got a lot of shit going on, and I wish I had assigned his bed before he collapsed outside, because that was undoubtedly one of the things that is contributing to his current situation. So that's what I'm talking about with mood. Now I'm not going to get any construction done unless I throw Retro back on it, which I'm not going to do. Instead, I'm just going to have him make stone blocks forever. So we can get a construction material. So the first thing I want to do with this granite is start building up a defensive wall. Unfortunately, we're in kind of a weird spot with the way this is all set up. So I did specifically pick this spot so that they wouldn't, there shouldn't, oh, I hope there are not, there shouldn't be any raids coming in from this side of the map. So it'd be weird if they kind of came in around here, or like really any direction other than from over here. So what I want to do is I want to basically just build a wall straight down from here, and leave like a little opening here, funnel all attackers into a single place where we can set up some defenses and people with guns, so when they attack they all just walk into this big open field and just get shot to death instantly. That's the plan. Never works out that way, but you never know. Muffalo are also tempting. They provide both milk and wool, which are good resources to have, especially in a what am I looking for here? A crafting intensive colony, but there's not a lot of grass out here for grazing. I could definitely use these guys if the chinchillas don't eat hay, because Muffalo definitely do. So maybe we just let this go for a while. The Muffalo will probably hang around for a while. But if we do get them, we'll probably have to feed them with hay constantly. I like being able to have Muffalo because they will just kind of wander around and graze on their own, but there's really not a lot of grass around here. There's a lot of trees, but it turns out Muffalo will not eat trees. That is reserved for beavers, which you will undoubtedly see as this progresses. So good. Retro's working on stone cutting, Moogie's still researching, we've almost got smithing. Once smithing is up, he is going to be using either stone blocks or the steel to make clubs. Or, I'm sorry, maces. So we'll make steel maces. Can't make stone maces, I don't think. What am I doing here? I'm still sewing. Dell is... okay, okay. So, let's pause here for a minute. I am still sowing, so I'll let myself do that for a while, but will want to cut these trees down. We have enough wood to sustain us for a little while. Dell will get back to construction, hopefully soon. He may need to take care of himself, because usually mental breaks, they don't eat, they don't sleep, and they don't sit down, so their entire mood just goes to crap anyway. So he'll take care of himself, then he'll get back to constructing. Now, raid. They came a little sooner than I hoped. That's okay. The first raid is always just one dude with a club. So I don't have weapons for Retro and Mustache yet, so I'm basically just going to rely on JP to shoot this guy away. So they're attacking immediately, and he's unusually clever. I'm not too worried about an unusually clever dude with a club. So it'll take a while to get here. I'll let JP get some work in before I draft him and have him start shooting at this dude who's coming in. What kind of club does he have? Is it any good? Granite club, awful, 41%. I will make my own maces. It is okay. We're already harvesting rice. Okay. Now is the time to draft. We're going to try to get to this opening. A lot of things. Walls, trees, these stone chunks do provide cover, making it harder to shoot targets. So I want to get him out in the opening. And you are not killing it right now. How are you doing? Peg leg, so you're already pretty slow, so I should be able to just kite this guy. Maybe we can capture him. I would like to see his stats once I'm not trying to micromanage him. He's okay. I could make use of him. Him, her. Oh, there we go. Okay. We got this person. Female drifter, age 50. Falcon men who are the pirate band, so I don't get any benefit from leasing them, really. So what do we have here? Peg leg, no addictions or anything to worry about. Melee, social, animals, medicine. This is actually, like, okay, but capable of dumb labor. So I think I'm okay with having a person around who is really only good for medicine as long as they can do dumb labor. So let's do that. We're going to capture Yoshiko, and they will be going to this prisoner bed here. Everything is nice. Who is our current? I think I am our current doctor, which is, well, it's not good news for anybody involved, but we should pull through. Shouldn't be any problems. Alright, so first raid, no problems. A little bit of kiting. I'm a little scared for the next raid because we really need to do better than one pistol if we're going to fight off more than one person with a club. Having a couple guys with melee weapons is definitely better than nothing. I think I can probably handle you guys cleverly enough that you can actually beat the crap out of people who have guns, even though you've only got melee weapons, just by some micromanaging and stuff like that. We should be able to do it, but I am nervous. So they're alright, they'll be getting better. We will 74% recruitment difficulty. That's really not too bad, especially for someone that you capture from a raid. So we'll just chat and recruit. Every now and then JP is going to go in there, talk to them, and try to get them on our side. And that's probably the main way that you increase your colony count, by capturing people who try to kill you. As ironic, question mark, as that may be. So anyway, a couple things that I want to look at now. Cooking. So now that we've got a good process going to get vegetables, we've got our first rice harvest. Not a lot of rice, but enough. We can start looking at hunting meat. And then once we have meat, we can actually do better than simple meals, which I never even started this. But anyway, so you can make meals out of 10 any single kind of food, you know, vegetables, meat, berries, which I guess are still kind of vegetables, but whatever. Here we go. We're going to get into the fruit versus vegetable classification. Why you're going to get all the people, the tomato people, is are tomatoes fruits or vegetables? You're going to get all sorts of people that you mad at that. Solar flare, not too bad. All electrical devices shut down for a little while. We don't really, not too worried about the freezer right now. But yeah, I mean, like, so the fruit vegetable thing, that's just, as far as I know, that's just a culinary construct. People only care about that in the context of, like, cooking. If you're talking biological, everything's a fruit. Like, even grain is a fruit, as if I'm reading Wikipedia pages and being an expert about things like that correctly. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. So now we have to choose microelectronics basics to get gun turrets, and basically the same amount of time as it would take to get machining. Machining lets us make guns, microelectronics basics plus gun turrets lets us make turrets. So given... this is tricky. I think, given that we really only have 2 people who can shoot, I think it's going to be more valuable to get turrets, because I can build multiples of them and then go from there. And then, of course, my microelectronics basics will unlock more stuff in the future for us to research. So I want to get a smithy, a fueled smithy up as soon as I can. In other words, right fucking now, Dell. We'll throw a bill on there. Retro will stop making these stone blocks, which we will be using later, I assure you. I do want to use granite blocks for building the wall that I was talking about earlier. We're gonna build a wall, but we'll use steel. We are low on steel. I don't think I'm actually gonna have enough steel to make a mace. I'm gonna make a sword, but I don't. Yeah, 75 ingredients. Only going to make this out of steel, details, longsword 120, so I'm going to need Dell to start mining, but he's currently laying down floors. He's almost done, so I'm going to let him finish the floors. Yeah, he's very close to almost done, and then he'll start working on mining out this steel. I'm actually going to stop the order on the compacted machinery. Okay. So we're in a decent spot now. We've got the freezer up and going. It's not freezing anything because of the solar flare. This is a fueled smithy. I will eventually get an electric smithy, but you have to do a lot more research to get it, and I don't remember why that is. Anyway, Retro, what are you doing? You just taking a walk? Why are you... Oh, you are our warden, not JP. I don't know why I thought JP was the warden. I think I'm always just inclined to assume that the person with the gun is also my warden. But no, it's Retro. So Retro, do your magic. 1.7% chance. You increase your odds of recruitment by having a higher... by building rapport. You can, I think, improve this more efficiently by just doing chat, friendly chat. But I'm just gonna start... I don't know. I just wanted to throw those low percentage chances out there. If anything, it might take him more interactions to recruit him if I do it this way, which is actually good because it gives him more experience in social, which makes him better at recruiting in the future. And I don't really need this person right now, so I can afford to wait and make that investment. Perfect. So I don't know where that steel came from to make the mace, but so I'm going to give the mace to Mustache. And then Retro's gonna get the sword. The main... there's minor differences between like the mace, the longsword, the spear, knife, shiv, gladius. The main takeaway is the mace has the lowest damage, but most of the armor in the game has a much lower rating against blunt weapons than they do sharp weapons. So, and I think if you use blunt weapons, you're also much more likely to hurt them and send them into shock without outright killing them. So that might be a benefit. And the sword, I think, has the highest damage per swing, but is also a little slower. I don't really know. I don't worry too much about the minute details of the weaponry in the game. But I just like having a little diversity and having a little bit of character in the weapons. These weapons, by the way, are probably going to be pretty bad, because Retro's only got a 5 in crafting, which means he's okay. But this is mostly going to be practice for him, and hopefully we'll find some plasteel in the not-too-distant future, and we can make new melee weapons out of that. Alright, so I think, I didn't keep a timer. I should really find a good method of keeping a timer. So the last thing I'm going to do before we go is I'm going to set up a meal bin right next to the cooking station as a place to store meals, and we're going to get the cooking bill set up. So you have different options for, basically a bill is just an order for a colonist to carry out. You can either do it a certain number of times, you can do until you have a certain amount of the end results, or you can just do forever. With meals, I like to do until I have a certain amount based on how many colonists I have. For 5 colonists, I would ideally like to have 20 or maybe even 30 meals available on hand. But for right now, I'm just going to have 10 simple meals at all time. Hopefully JP will get to a 5 in cooking. I think you need maybe it's a 6. Because I do want to be cooking fine meals in the future, and you do need a cooking skill of 6. Fine meals take the same amount of total resources, so a simple meal takes like all of one kind. A fine meal requires that you have 5 of like a protein, either a meat or a milk or an egg or something, and 5 vegetables, so rice or corn or something. So it's the same amount of food, but it requires a little of having keeping a balance of your vegetables and your meat on hand. It's not really a problem, but something you have to keep in mind. Anyway, I suppose now we could also get an what are they called? Stone cutters table. Oh man, this is the other problem with RimWorld. I think I said like 3 minutes ago that I was about to call it, just to oh no, I put this in the wrong spot because my plan got cut out by this thing, so this is further down than it's supposed to be. That's okay, I think I wanted this over here anyway. I'll finagle the micro on this. RimWorld is probably... I find myself spending about 6 hours at a time on this game, mostly because there's always so much going on, and I'm constantly getting distracted by stuff that's going on, like, oh, I gotta do this before I can stop, I gotta do this, I gotta take care of this. It's kind of a never-ending thing, and what on earth? Moogie! I think that's okay. I really wish that she didn't do that. So, because she has smithing on, she started a sword because Mustache was researching, and so she didn't have access to the research bench. I knew that was a potential problem, but I didn't do anything about it in time. So, I think... but I gotta keep... Now I have to keep her on smithing, so that she'll finish the sword eventually. So I guess I put... Okay, here's what I do. I put this on 1, so that way whenever this is available, hopefully Retro always gets up earlier in the morning than Moogie does, so he gets to finish the mace first. Well, he might be finishing this mace soon anyway. So I will jump back to my old point. Very distracting, very easy to get lost in all the things that are going on, trying to deal with everything that comes up and trying to constantly make progress. And yeah, I mean, I can barely keep up with it. So yeah, I'm gonna force myself to stop here before I get along too far. What I'm going to do next time, I'm going to hope and pray that Moogie doesn't go crazy on the oh no, I built a stone cutter table. Just kill me now. So, alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pause this so nothing more bad can happen. The sculptor's table will go up. I will set a bill on here for Mugi to start making sculptures. Sculptures will start being installed around the colony to make the place look nicer, improve people's moods. I don't know what I've been doing, but I'm going to need to cut down all of these plants to help make this more walkable. Dell will keep mining, so we have steel in the future. It looks like this goes all the way through, so let's check that out. Retro will continue making the mace. Mugi will continue making the sword. And hopefully we're getting research done so we can get our turrets up and we can start building the wall. JP's kind of running out of stuff to do, so hopefully the... oh, I should probably knock down plant cutting too, because right now growing is more important than clearing this stuff out. I want to make sure we're harvesting the rice. Anyway, calling this now. Thanks for watching. Come back with episode 3 for all that stuff that I just mentioned.